everybody. It is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're zooming in and focusing in a little bit more in depth on covert narcissist manipulation tactics and techniques, and that is one of negative validation. Negative validation. When we look at relationships, we can feel an energetic interplay of emotion. People have energy about them. You can say that guy was very calming. He was very soothing. He was very uplifting. He or she was very joyful, or he or she was very down. They were in the dumps. They were in despair. They were distraught, or they were frantic. They were chaotic. They were hectic. There was a disorganization about them. People do have energetic vibrations about them, and the energy is based and really fueled in the central nervous system. And then that leads out to the parasympathetic nervous system in the body. So as you understand, thoughts are neurons. We do have nerve cells which conduct electricity. And then these, of course, are combined and mirrored back, and we have a kind of a activation system which is reinforced by the feelings in your body and then verbalized by your thoughts. So it creates an interplay or a self-fulfilling circuit or cycle. So just like if you were to feel gratitude, you feel so thankful. You feel so grateful that you're in a quiet place. You feel so grateful that you're in a sunny place or a rainy place or whatever it is that you're grateful for. That is oftentimes a feeling, which is an emotion, and then reciprocated through verbalization. So it's a self-fulfilling circuit. It regenerates itself. We'll realize that oftentimes that this circuit, which is within one and keeps one creates a mood, and then consistent mood over time creates people's identity and their personality, where they begin to say, I am depressed, I am happy, I am joyful, I am grace, I am inspired. It's the reciprocal cycle of your verbalization, so your self-talk, what you discuss with people in your environment, and then how you feel. So you have to have both. You have to have the feeling, the emotion, the energy, which you allow yourself to feel and enhance and reinforce through your thoughts. Now realize that a covert narcissist oftentimes will engage in what we call negative validation. So it's like basically, giving you the I'm not, the deficit card. It's as if they were to hand you a deficit, like a card with a big balance on it. Here's a credit card with $20,000, in debt, and I'm handing this to you, and you're not. So it's what basically is called negative validation, or the reciprocation, or the messages that you are not good enough, you are not worth talking to, you are not worth me looking in the eyes, you're not worth me attending to, you're not worth me having a conversation, you're not worth the time of day, you are not smart enough, you are not pretty enough, you're not tall enough, you're not short enough, you're not blonde enough, you're not dark enough, you're not smart enough in math, you're not smart enough in arts, you're not good enough at cooking, you can't balance the books, you don't respect us. You do respect this and this religion. You have this and this political viewpoint. You are not. It's the I'm nots. And then these become the shoulds, and the negative validation becomes basically fueled within your mind as I am not. And then this reinforced treatment then becomes absorbed in you like a sponge, like all the negative, erroneous, all the wrong messages that they're trying to feed into you then are absorbed energetically through into the subconscious mind, which then begins to run really the rest of your body. It's in charge of your heart, your breathing, your walking. All this is automatic. The things that your body does for you, the cellular metabolism, the digestion that's going on, all the different muscles, this is all run by your powerful subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind, really, we only have a very small percent that we are aware of on a day-to-day basis, basically 1 to 2%. You might become aware of, it's cold in here, it's hot in here, it's bright in here, it's dark in here. That's just the tip of the iceberg. That's just what we call the conscious mind. And the conscious mind is really what you have to open up your awareness of and become to get into that space, what we call becoming aware of the subconscious mind. That automatic, it's like the automatic pilot that's running you, and begin to make your changes in that space, because the covert narcissist oftentimes fills you with all the wrong messages. I am not, which whether it's verbally spoken to you or more powerfully, it is what is communicated to you through the nonverbal communication. And the nonverbal communication is the behavior. It's the way that they the way that they move, their body language, how they don't talk to you, how they don't attend to you, how they don't face you square on, how their body does not respect yours or give you what you need, how they remain very aloof, very distant. Where you're trying to do 80% of the guesswork, 90% of the guesswork, and they're there for the 10%. It's very scanty. Very scantily clad in terms of how much information or validation this person gives you. So oftentimes it's a deficit. It's in other words, if you've ever heard the statement, if you don't decide, you're still making a decision. So it's like the ultimate procrastination. It's like this person is just procrastinating or not validating you, not giving you the love, not showing you the attention, the acknowledgement, sort of that unconditional love or communication that needs to be there in healthy, functional relationships. So it's very important then to become aware or conscious of this negative validation information, because oftentimes it's done through snubbing, through not giving you the sort of look, attention. They're ignoring you basically. And the people who are in their environment, even subconsciously, they know that they then begin to misbehave to get attention. And so people say, it's a negative draw for attention. This dynamic can get in place with a covert narcissist, because people then automatically, it's not, conscious to you where I'm going to get unhealthy to get attention. I'm going to have a heart attack to get attention. I'm going to develop a neurological disorder to get attention. I'm going to develop an eating disorder to get attention. I'm going to, develop a gambling problem, a spending problem, an employment problem to get attention. Basically, this occurs below the level of the subconscious mind. It's like a mountain, if you've ever seen Mount Fuji, Mount Fuji is this very mysterious mountain if you've ever been to Japan, and it has this air of mystery about it, and it's because it's so powerful. And you hear about the tip of the iceberg, or like what you'll see if you were to see the top of a mountain that has a snow cover. You can see the snow, but all everything underneath, that's kind of like your subconscious mind. Or an iceberg, if you've ever seen like a glacier in a ocean that is like melting, you see like a tip of the glacier, but underneath there's this huge vast glacier ice body that you don't see. So there's holding up that little bit of tip that you see in the water is this huge vast foundation. And very much it's like what you see, that negative validation is what you're experiencing in your body. So the negative chronic lack of energy, oftentimes it's because of those messages that were put in. So this, and it becomes then proliferated. It tends to grow with time, because whether you hear it or not, that those messages are like playing in the background of your body. They're playing in the background of your subconscious. They're telling you, you can't go for the promotion. You can't go for the schooling. You can't go for this and this date. You can't go for this and this interest. You can't go for this and this. It's keeping you held back. It's then becomes the self-limiting beliefs, which basically you don't realize, but you have control over. So the solution, of course, is to get into that subconscious operating system where this is the roots are. So you have to understand and become consciously aware of the source of these negative messages and basically clear them out, saying, okay, this is contained within this person who is giving me all this negative validation to keep me down, to keep me muddled, which keeps me in the dark, basically. And, as through centuries, governments have controlled people through starving them, through, keeping them coerced through poverty, through poverty consciousness, and basically oppression. So this is really what happens. It's like covert oppression, where they're keeping you in the dark. They're keeping you without attention. They're keeping you without knowledge. And they keep so much of it concealed because they're just, focusing in on keeping them, up and up and up and up, where, then they can allow you to slide down, and then they can furthermore say, well, you're this, you're that, and it keeps them feeling above, where they feel happy and content. They don't have the internal experience or security to realize it's okay to pick people up. It's okay to give positive feedback. It's okay to give them attention, guidance, love, and credit where credit is due, because it's okay for people to grow. So I hope you can understand that the interplay and dynamic of covert narcissist negative validation and how it can really proliferate into a lot of the situations that can become really playing out in your life, such as depression, anxiety, eating disorders, spending disorders, thought disorders, unemployment, underemployment. It really plays out oftentimes in that role. So really eradicate that. Get into the positive feeling, the positive self-talk, the affirmations that we talk about, the focusing and vision of the future, and surrounding yourself 100% responsibility for now plugging those positive feelings, thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. So you're creating now the new cause, the positive validation for yourself moving forward. So you really change up your story. You really change up your blueprint. You really change up that operating system and give yourself the validation that you're doing the right thing, that you are okay. You have permission to succeed. You have permission to smile. You have permission to have a pep in your step. You have permission to feel good. You have permission to change your thought pattern now. You have permission to change your feeling pattern. You have, you have permission to change that automatic system, and it's really effective to do a pattern interrupt when you're usually, always in a habit of looking one way. Begin to look, and change and look different directions. Think, in new ways. Utilize that creativity and tap into it. Really, that's the quantum field, where you really do begin to heal and activate really that positive healing system, which is self-validating, which you need to carry over in all aspects of your life for lifelong healing. It'll be there for you for the long run, for longevity and your long-range healing. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.